Now, the manager of the Lionesses has come out and stirred things up a bit, frankly, because she said that it's only a matter of time before a female manager takes full-time charge of a men's team. What a shock.
Horror. We got a flavour for full-time female management in the men's game when Hannah Dingley took the reins at Forest Green in pre-season. But should it happen again?
Well, on one side of the debate, we've got football journalist Megan Garbutt, who says the women's game has grown massively over the years, and the quality of the coaching has too.
Yes, but social media star and feminism critic Pearl Davies thinks female appointments are often more political than earned, and they both join us now. Good morning to you, Pearl. What's wrong with this?
Well, I would say the issue you have in women's sports is it becomes a political agenda rather than giving the best person that is there for the job. And that is my issue, is when it becomes, really, I don't even think it matters if it's man or woman. I think it is the most competent person for the job. Why do we keep going back to a female manager, a female manager? It should just be the best manager for the job.
But are you worried then that there would be token appointments? Somebody wanting to make a point would appoint a female manager when actually there may be a man around who would be better?
Yeah, my biggest issue is when it becomes a political agenda. I don't think as women we need special handouts or special treatment. I think the best person for the job should get the job.
OK, Megan, what's your take on this?
I totally agree with what Pearl's saying. It should go to whoever deserves the job, but I think the people that do make those appointments will look at it that way. I don't think anyone would appoint a female just for the sake of it. I mean, you look at what Emma Hayes has done at Chelsea Women. Obviously she's leaving at the end of the season, but there's no reason why she would not be able to take charge of a men's team high up in the English game or anywhere in the world, because frankly they get the same coaching, they've had access to the same coaching badges, they've got the same skills, expertise, the same knowledge, so there shouldn't be a problem with it at all.
And yet people seem to be scandalised, don't they? I mean, what's wrong? Why are we even making an issue of it?
Well, I would say even when women are polled, they do not prefer female bosses. So I would say women in general struggle in positions of leadership. I don't think we're naturally good at it. I do think there are exceptions to the rule, as there are in anything, but I do see it being a political agenda where they do not put the best women or they do not put the best person in the position. They just put women in because they're women.
Why do you think, Pearl, that women are not natural leaders?
I just think there are things that women are naturally good at and men are naturally good at. Women just tend to be more agreeable, and the trait disagreeability tends to be better men tend to be more that way, where women tend to be more agreeable.
You've forgotten Margaret Thatcher and Liz Truss and various other prime ministers we've had.
If you want to look at women in positions of political power, they're actually more violent and more willing to wage war. So I actually think that women do struggle in positions of political power as well. For example, your shortest prime minister ever here was a woman.
Megan, what's your take on whether women can... Do women have the same ability to lead a team? And particularly, I guess, when you're talking about leading a team of sort of young and, I suppose, a little bit bolshy men on a football team?
I mean, look, we know football has been a male-dominated sport for so long, and that should not be the case anymore. It should be equal. But yeah, obviously there's going to be different challenges when it comes to managing a men's team to a women's team. Yes, you're going to have the men want to make a name for themselves individually as well as a team. So you have got to manage those different attitudes in the team. But there isn't any reason that people like Serena Wiegman or Emma Hayes or other women managers, there's no reason they can't do that.
Well, I just think if women were so good at managing a team, they would be better at managing their league. I mean, by and large, women's leagues are not profitable. Women's leagues do not make money. So how are we going to say we are so great and amazing and awesome at managing a team when we can't even manage our own league? The majority of women's leagues really are subsidized by the men.
I think the WSL is creating so much revenue at the minute, and even women's football in America is, really equal to the men's game as well. I think
it's not equal at all.
It's making
if you look at profits, it's not even close. It's not equal.
But in terms of the people that are watching the game and, spending money on the game, it's making so much money to what it was even 5 years ago. And I don't see that there's any issue.
If it's unprofitable, and that's again, which goes back to the problem, women's sports don't tend to make money. If they do tend to make money, it tends to be they're monetizing sexuality in some way. But really, by and large, women's sports do not make money. And I've really seen this become a political issue over the years where the women will cry and whine and bitch and moan about their pay. When really, by and large, women do not deserve more money because they do not make what the men make. And it becomes a political issue where we want more money for less work, and I can't stand it. I'm a female athlete. I've been in athletics for 16 years, and I'm really sick of it becoming a handout off. Who can get the most handouts? Really, I think if women want more money and they want to be in these positions, we wouldn't have to keep saying we need females in these positions. They would just be in those positions. We need competent people. There is a shortage of competent people in the world. If you are competent, you will get the role. And women want special handouts and treatments, and we're even doing a whole segment on female managers. What does that tell us? That we're not competent enough in general to get the roles.
I think obviously we know that the men's game in football and in other sports do produce more revenue, but that doesn't mean the women's game doesn't produce revenue. You just look at the WSL in England, and the men's grounds are being used to house the women's games now, and they're selling out those grounds. And that's just showing how far the game is coming. And I think, it is a matter of time before someone breaks that barrier and will manage a men's team high up.
By and large, women's sports operate at a loss. The WNBA operates at a loss. College athletics, women's college athletics, it's subsidized by male athletics. By and large, women's sports operates at a loss just because maybe you could point to one small league somewhere or one league, which really, by and large, I don't know 5 female footballers. Most people couldn't list you 5 female footballers, and the only ones you can really list are the ones that have become political. They make it a political movement, and I think it ruins the sanctity of the sport because we're more worried about getting a female manager than we are in improving the game.
But Pearl, it isn't part of the issue here. You say the women can't manage it. It's not as profitable as it could be, and all the rest of it. But that's not down to the game. It's not down to the players or the managers. That's down to the public not supporting it in the same way, and that is something, certainly in the UK, that we are seeing start to change. Yeah.
The public doesn't support it because it's not as entertaining. I mean, do you, sir, can you list 10 female soccer players?
Well, no, but
no, exactly. That's my point.
No, but
support us.
No, I couldn't.
Support us, please.
No, I couldn't.
That's my point. That's my point. No. It's not entertaining.
That's a mute. Yes. That's a mute point because I couldn't name 10 male players. So
and here's the thing. I don't even watch soccer, but really, by and large, I could tell you more male players than female players because the males are more entertaining. And my thing is, ladies, if you want people to watch, be more entertaining, and then you will get more viewers. Stop shaming the viewers. If a product is not selling, you don't go to the market and say, you bad customers, you're just not supporting my product. You improve the product. So I say improve the level of the game, be more entertaining, and then people will watch.
Okay,
and
Megan,
if you're not willing to do that, stop crying to me about it.
Megan, last word from you.
I mean, you obviously don't sort of pay attention to the WSL in England because that's got its own fan base in itself. And if I ask those people that invest their time in the women's game, if they can name 5 players, they can probably name 50 women's players in the game because they invest their time in it.
Let's go on the streets of England and tell them name 5 female soccer players and name 5 male soccer players.
Well, I tell you what, you've both been very entertaining just on this subject. So, but we've got to wind you up there. But thanks very, very much indeed. Yeah. What a lively
interesting one. Just a very brief word from Paul Kite.
Keep me out of this. I don't want anything to do with it, quite frankly. Listen, as far as I'm concerned, I agree with a lot of stuff that Megan says as well. It is a growing sport. Let's be honest here. Over the last 5 years, we've seen it grow and grow. It's not a competition between men's football and women's football. They can go hand in hand, they can go along together. That is growing. And as far as a manager's concerned, it's not like we're saying, let's get women players involved involved in men's football. It's a managerial job, and that is a different situation. It's about knowing the game, it's about understanding the game, and it's about management and working with players. And that doesn't matter, in my opinion, whether it's a man or a woman. It obviously makes a difference how players will react to that, but that's up to them. But when it comes to actually doing the job, I don't see it will make a difference at all.
OK, Coity, thank you very much indeed.